Much money is in your guys' bank account?
750.
750?
Yeah.
Like 80K.
You're being serious right now? You have 80K in your bank account.
Yeah.
I've been paying for every single day we've been going on. You have 80K in your bank account.
Well, I feel like it's like the gentleman thing to do.
Are you being serious right now?
Yeah.
Do you hear this? How do you get that money? What have you been doing? I haven't seen you working at all. What the hell are you doing?
Just like I don't know.
You're just gonna let him pay for everything when you have that much?
Yeah, like what?
Yeah, I feel like it's like the gentleman thing to do.
Dude, I've been working my ass off, and I got $750 in my bank account. Mini golf, breakfast, every single lunch and dinner that we've been to. Am I crazy? Is that ridiculous? Why are you with me if you're so goddamn rich? Like, I don't understand that. Have a good time, bro.
You just make him pay for everything?
I don't know. I feel like it's just how it's like, I don't know.
Anybody who will allow you to struggle is not somebody you need to be with at all. Now, I know in this video it shows a young lady, and I thought that the one I saw a few months back was just a one-off, so I kind of ignored it. But then I've seen 3, 4, 5 more videos of the same. And although most of the time, well, every time, it was a young lady who had tens of thousands of dollars in her account, and the young man only has a few $100s in his account, yet he's paying for everything, and she thinks it's funny, and she laughs and giggles and says, oh, that's what he's supposed to do. Let me paint this picture across the board. If you are with a man or a woman and they will allow you to struggle, that's not somebody you want to be with. Let me tell you a story. So I was dating this young lady, and we had been dating for a month or two. So about at this time frame, I'm thinking things may get serious. Things may really turn out to be somebody that I may want to be with on the long term. So of course, it's time for us to have a financial conversation. And the financial conversation really came about because she calls me one day and says, can you send me $80 to get my nails done? I said, why? We've talked about budgeting before. Why do you not have the money to pay for your nails to be done? Did something happen? Was there an emergency? Is there some reason that you are lacking? It wasn't that I was going to say no. I just need to know why, since we had already previously talked about budgeting, because I refuse to be with someone who can't budget their own money. So, and that's because I'm not going to take on someone as a liability. So that prompted me to say, let's have a conversation about finances. So she came over and we sat down and talked. And the first thing she said is that she expects that I should pay for everything, and I should also treat her, and that she should be able to take her money and keep it for herself. Well, as you can imagine, that conversation didn't go over too well. I explained to her exactly how I budget out money. I use a 70-10-10-10 program. Basically, 70% goes to necessities, 10% goes to savings, 10% goes to investing, and 10% goes to our fund. But all the money comes in, and each person first gets an expense account, a determined amount that both of us get equally, and you go do whatever you want with it. Now, your hair and your nails and all these things, your beauty stuff, is all part of the NEC, the part of that 70%. Now, my question to her was, can you do this? Because it is the only way that I will function financially with anyone. You see, that is the way I've always functioned. From the moment that I stepped out of my grandparents' house and was in the Marine Corps, I've always functioned that way. That everything comes together, that we are building this together. I went away from that one time, and it was the only time that finances were a problem within the relationship. So I vowed to myself that I would never do it again. So this young lady persisted for a couple of days that no. Her idea of a man is that a man pays for everything and her money is inconsequential and she gets to do whatever she wants with her money. It reminded me of when the young lady that I did differently with, we had split everything in a certain format. And then when I started making more money than her, all of a sudden she wanted me to pay more. And I said, well, what happens to your money? Well, I saved my money. That's what we'll use to go on vacations and buy big purchase items and things of that nature. I reminded her, you wanted a prenup. So no, we're not doing that. Because if something were to happen, what's yours stays yours and what's mine stays mine. I've paid for everything, but yet I get to maintain only the things that my name is on. We're not doing that. We're going to maintain the same program that we started with, since that's what you wanted. You didn't want to do my program. We're doing yours. You don't like it so much now because you thought you had more than me in the beginning. And that was fine. That's the only other time finances were the problem. So I wasn't going through that again, ever again. But this young lady, even after talking to other young ladies, she's like, well, let's ask other women. Let's ask other women. I said, okay. We asked a young lady who was a six-figure earner and her husband was a six-figure earner. After I explained the process of how I did money, this young lady who had been married for 30 years went back to her husband and said, got a better way of doing it. And her husband switched over to that method of managing the household money. But I realized when this young lady was still dead set on me paying for everything and her just living it up. And mind you, this is after I used some of my connections to get her a job that paid her twice as much as what she was earning prior to. So there's absolutely no reason she should have needed me to pay for her nails. I think she was just asking just because she didn't want to pay for it. So I realized that this wasn't someone who had my best interest at heart. And anyone who would allow you to struggle does not have your best interest at heart. They have their own self-interest at heart. And if that is the type of person you're dealing with, that is the type of person you need to run from. Now, I know many situations is where, and for the first, 17 years of my adult life, I paid for everything. I was the only breadwinner for 14 of those 17 years. And I didn't mind it. Had small children. Didn't bother me at all. But I knew that if at any time, any money that came into that household, it was part of the whole. Not, this is yours, this is mine. I don't do that. Because I recognized very early on that someone who will let you struggle is not someone that you want to be with. If you have a man or a woman who says that, well, you're the man, and if we're struggling, you need to get out there and do this, or you need to get out there and do that. Now, if you got a real man, he's going to go out there and do the best he can. But as he's working on it, if you're just going to sit back and complain and whine and moan and you're not adding to anything, you are fundamentally flawed in that you will allow him to struggle and thereby allow yourself to struggle. And if you decide that you are going to get a job, but yet you withhold what you earn, any parts of it, you're a problem. And you should be fired. I have no problems firing someone. You shouldn't have a problem firing someone either. So always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.